Hey everybody. So we're here now getting ready for our it's Friday. It's Friday.
It's Friday.
So we're getting ready for the podcast on the man you were called to be. And today we have one of our special guests who's going to give us wisdom throughout this conversation, I'm sure. But for those that don't know, I would like Mr. Clay to introduce himself and say something about introspecting trio.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Bernard Clay. I'm the executive director and one of the founders of Introspect Youth Services. We've been providing youth development services to students on Chicago's West Side for 5 decades,
West Side, Best
since
Side.
1975 through now. We have collectively worked with 78,000 students, assisting them to enroll in post-secondary institutions throughout the country. TRIO is, of course, a group of federal programs to serve first-generation low-income students. There's about 3,000 programs nationwide, and the TRIO programs came under attack in the beginning of the this present administration, but the Congress saw fit to refund TRIO through this current year. However, we don't know how TRIO funding will be going into the next year. So that's what we're concerned about. But I'd like to really get to the discussion of the book.
So yeah, Mr. Clay, one of the things we've been talking. So we brought you in because we looking for wisdom from you on this, right? But what we've been talking about is just things that you've been called as a man, been called to be. So we've talked about emotions, being able to show emotions, being loved, being able to bring friends together and have someone. And you gonna put the mic in and say what you said?
Being vulnerable.
Being vulnerable with each other. Did I miss out on something that we talked about? Each week we've been talking about different conversations, and it's been different chapters in the book that kind of has jumped out at us in this. And I would just throw out today, kind of talking about in chapter 41, strength and leaning on each other. I think that has been probably a big struggle of learning how to lean on each other for strength, because as men, we always think that we're supposed to be in charge, or we should be the strength carrier. Like I should carry everybody's burdens that I love, and nobody should ever carry mine. And so it's hard to just be like, hey, going back to the vulnerable piece, hey, I need somebody to carry me a little bit. And so I wanted to kind of hear people's thoughts on, like, is that really a struggle, or is that just certain people that had a struggle, or what your experience with it?
Me personally, I think a lot of, like, growing up, right, like as young men in certain households, you kind of see the men in your family being that person that everybody looks to for financial situations, advice, or just somebody to talk to. So I think growing up, it just we conditioned as young men to know that when somebody in the family needs you, you need to be there no matter what. And I think we missed the piece that, like, those same people that carry those burdens, or is that person to go to in their family, that they also need an outlet at the same time. And I don't think it kind of resonates with the family until later on in life. I was watching the video and it said that's why you see older men, when they sons say they love them, or their daughters say they love them, when they get older, they kind of get emotional, because it's kind of like reassuring them that, like, you sacrifice your time, your resources for me, and they just now hearing that. So I think it kind of go into that.
That's interesting. I'm wondering, I want to take it from the point of being the person that is almost like that takes care of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it difficult for that person then to say, somebody, now I need you to take care of me? Like, I carry you all the way. I carry everybody because of either the position I have, or because I was kind of designated in the family, or because I'm the father, or whatever. And so when I need somebody to carry me, how do I release enough to be comfortable enough to say, I really need you. I just can't do this today, because we've built you up to make you feel, so that's why I'm always struggling with, like, how do we do that part?
I think we need to not look at it as a weakness, to be able to say that, hey, I need some help too. I need somebody to kind of lean on. I think we look at it as, if we ask for help, then we're going to be looked at as like the person. Now you can't come to me and ask for help. It's like, nah, it
Because
can
now
get balanced.
you're not as strong as I thought you were.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
And
I think it's that fear.
I think we developed that over time of being that person. We developed this like macho mentality amongst ourselves because we're trying to take on so much responsibility. So we start to literally like wear that as like a badge of honor to a certain. And then when we get to that breaking point, sometimes it's like, man, I've hit this point. But it's like, and now at this point, I don't want to be vulnerable because I put on this persona that I'm macho man the entire time, or that I don't have any flaws, or don't have no weaknesses. So when it
And
comes
I
to
don't
that
want to let
point-
anybody down.
yeah, especially.
Yeah.
So I think when we hit those points, we hit a vulnerable point that some people can't get past, or allowing people to let them know that, hey, I need help, or I have hit a breaking point at this moment.
So let me ask you, Mr. Clay. So introspect 1975. They weren't even born in 1975. So let's start talking
You
about
made
that.
me pain Leo work.
But what I was going to say, so in starting introspect in 1975, I'm sure you had some people behind you like, hey, you could do it, you could do it, you could do it. But how did you handle 1975 is a long time to have a business that is still doing great things, right? And so like, how did you handle people who all of a sudden just kind of kept looking to you to be the strong person? Like you never could be the weak person in it.
One of the things that, that it fell on a group of us. I didn't start Introspect by myself. We developed actually out of Explore Post, which was part of the Boy Scouts of America. And then in 1973, 74, we accepted girls into it. And I really wasn't going to work for Introspect. I was working with the Illinois Department of Corrections as a probation officer, and my background, of course, is in clinical psychology. And a lot of people came to us because one of the things that we work with Garfield Park Mental Health Center, we provided crisis intervention, and we set up a crisis intervention hotline for teenagers. And that was another part that we sort of had to let go because we didn't have funding and we didn't have the resources to carry it on. But at that time, we were listening at what young people were going through, and it was a lot of drug interference at that time that kids and young adults encounter. It's a different time. I want to just feedback on something that someone said. The realities that these young adults, I don't want to call it what generation that they are, but these young folks in their 20s and 30s, the expectations are almost unrealistic because the last generation people in my generation want to say, hey, we did it all by ourselves. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You had, a thing just came out last week that said, it's almost impossible for someone under 40 to buy their own home, to purchase their own home. If these young people struggle through to get higher education, they assume untold with battles. I mean, when I came out of college at the end of 2 masters, I think my total debt was about $5,000, and I didn't see any way out of that. But I remember buying a $4,300 brand new car. But these young people will come out. It's not unusual to see somebody coming out of undergrad with $100,000 in debt. So they have that pressure, and they're still trying to keep up, on what they have to do. Starting a family, those pressures that they have are really, really heavy. And sometimes some governments help. The United States wants to take a posture that they don't want to help. Well, in all of the emerging countries in Europe, I was looking at Estonia. I think that's the country where they get free child care, free education, free assistance with housing, free assistance with food. But they don't call that welfare. They just call that the country's responsibility. Yeah. That doesn't happen here. And I'm not one to say that we need to be a gift society, but certainly they need help. I think that, when I look at what they're paying for child care, who would want to have kids?
I've heard people say with child care, it's easier for one of us to stay home because the expense. I'm not familiar, but that's what I've heard, that it's easier. The other thing though in that, Mr. Clay, is like, do you think people would not feel like I have to do all these extra things if I had, because I still feel like we still struggle to be the leader or be that person.
Society forces you to think that I've got to have, I've got to have that house. I've got to have 2.2 cars. I've got to have, X amount of dollars. One of the things is, I remember the other day looking at a young person that said, "Gee whiz, I'm finally where I want to be. I'm making $75,000 a year," and that was the desired income. Well, with $75,000 a year, I don't
Can't
think
do
you
as
can.
much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Not by yourself.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah, so I think that's something to really think about too, because, as I was saying, like being able to be this leader or be the breadwinner or to be the strong one in the family, being able to also say, hey, today I don't feel that. I don't feel like being a leader today.
Right.
I mean, we all probably come to work every now and then saying, I don't feel like having anybody look up to me.
I'm here, but I'm not here.
Yeah, I'm here. I don't want to be in charge today.
And I think that's why it's important to have like a group of friends, right? Because I think, like for example here, like I'm pretty sure everybody in here take care of a lot of stuff. But
Except a couple people.
no,
Go ahead.
everybody in here take care of a lot of stuff, right? Like for
Turner, you
example,
work hard.
I can go to Williams, right? Or I can go
lean
to
on
Turner.
Mr. Williams a lot, man. Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I'm
my
already
dog,
knowing
man.
a lot, and so I know for sure.
That's why I
He
can't
needs
lean on
some
him, because y'all all leaning on him.
No, I'm just saying in his own life. Like I know he got a lot going on. Everybody got a lot going on. But when we come here, it's like, all right, now I feel you. I know you got a lot going on. It's cool. Now you can relax. We could talk. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like that. So when you get a group of guys like that, that's in your corner, it makes it a little bit easier when you're going through times. Like, okay, now I don't gotta be this macho man. Like when I leave and go home.
In these conversations, even amongst us, for me, create that space of vulnerability, so we can have these conversations. I feel like I can talk to y'all about stuff that I can't talk to some of my cousins, because we literally having these conversations, and even pick about just on that society norm or that society expectation of us. And then we get to that point where it's like, man, I do feel like I need a house. I need these many cars. I have to live this type of lifestyle or have this type of persona. And then once you hit like your burnout point, it's almost like you scared to tell people how you really feel, because you don't want to seem
Like you failed.
like you defeated, or like you failed.
So do you feel like society makes us feel like we got to do all these things, or is it internal that we push ourselves to think that?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah. I never forget a conversation I had maybe about 20 years ago. I'm sorry, I'm using these decades.
Well, if it was 20 years ago, it wasn't with me.
He's from the West Side, but he was a civil rights attorney, Lawrence Kennan. And Lawrence Kennan, everybody should have retired. He moved into a law firm where he was a senior attorney with a bunch of black young lawyers. And one of the things I recall asking him is, why did you do it? He said, because they need, the young adults need a mentor. And one of the things that I believe I credit Dr. King with, by being at Morehouse under the tutelage of their president at that school, he had a mentor. And it's important that you have mentors, and you don't necessarily stop having a mentor when you get in your 30s, your 40s, or 50s. And you should have mentors above you, and you should have mentors below you, and that's how you're successful. Right now I'm really discouraged at the number of young, wealthy black men that are committing suicide. It's just hideous. And there's got to be a reason. Are they put in a box that they don't know who to trust? They don't have anyone to talk to.
And it's funny
That's a
you say
problem.
that, because it's like, even you get to the point where you have men who get to that age, and because I think like some of us from my society or my generation think that having a mentor at a certain age is like, it's like a downfall, or it's like a bad thing. So where it's like, oh, I'm a man, I still feel like I need somebody to tell me something or to guide me through this, even like at a later age. But I think once we hit that point, some men get to 35 years old and maybe never had a mentor or a father that was at that age and was going through those trials that some men go through at that time, whether it's divorce, whether it's whatever you're going through with your children, once you have children. And I think they hit that breaking point because I don't know nobody to turn to. I don't have nobody to turn to where I can go to for this advice, or a mentor or a father or an uncle. And I think men end up on an island by themselves. But then go back to what we were saying as far as having that team and having the men around you, to put yourself around somebody that you can actually talk to or open up to once you hit that wall.
Or that can know you and say, something's going on with you. What's happening? Or you look like you have gotten to, you're not smiling, 50 times a day. It looks like you're now only smiling 20. So what's happening? What's going on? How can I help? What can I be a part of? I think the problem that comes in is then when you say, how can I help? You want them to give you like a response, like you could do this, this, this. But when people, and as Mr. Clay brought up, young men that are committing suicide and things like that, when I'm in that space, I can't tell you what you can do that's going to make me better because I'm in a cloud, right? And so many times when people say, how can I help you? They need to just help. I heard someone say, when someone passes, people are like, well, if you need anything, let me know. The problem with that is that if I need something, I might not know I need it,
Right.
or I may not know because I'm caught up. And they said what you really should do is just do. And so I think a lot of times we throw the court in somebody else's corner and say, if you need something, just let me know, man. I'm over here.
Right.
But that over there, for me and my whatever's going on, might feel like a million miles away for that reach, And so if it feels a million miles away, I'm not going to be like, okay, Mr. Clay, if you could do this, this, this. What it does to make me say, he said he's there for me, but it's a million. I never will get to him. And so then I end up figuring something else out or feeling like I'm in that box where the only thing that is left for me is suicide.
Right. And then, the other thing that I want to say is just on the mental health that I worry about, the physical health.
Yeah.
Because here again, we have too many young athletes that have heart murmurs and never got a complete exam. And I tell you something, most of my staff are in their 20s and 30s. I can count the people on one of the benefits I give to my staff is full health insurance for them.
I'm coming to work for you.
And I can count over the years how many of them use it.
Well,
Unless
stop right here, Mr. Clay. How many of y'all? When was the last time y'all saw y'all doctors?
I go every 6 months, dentist and doctor.
You missed the question though. When was the last time you saw him?
Like 4 months ago. My appointment not until 2 more months.
Okay.
January.
Turner.
I just went to the dentist.
Was it? But see, people only go to the dentist when they have to go. Like when your tooth is broke or you got a cavity, you're like, I got to get to the dentist. So that's preventive. That ain't preventive maintenance. Yeah. That's like, I need some help right now.
I probably should,
Okay, so not put you on the spot, but when's the last time you went to see your doctor?
last year.
Last year?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it really is important because I just got on my mom about going to get like mammographies, and because one of our aunts had like breast cancer. I'm like, Ma, like, you not gonna know what's going on if you don't go check.
Right.
Like, you need to go get a mammogram every year because it's that time.
You need a full exam
It's
every
easier
year.
said than done.
Yeah.
Why is it easier said than
Yeah.
done?
I feel like
Because
especially
you're young, you don't have
especially
no
for
problems.
men, like
You think you good?
it's just like growing up, we didn't see like men going to the doctor, for just cause they go to the doctor when something go wrong.
Right,
So like
yeah. Get some baking soda and lay down.
Man, I
somewhere.
can take care of myself.
But
so
growing
like,
up, they wasn't microwaving everything.
Yeah.
Understand what we're putting in our bodies, and even though those people going to the gym, working out in the gym, stand at the door of the club and say, "When's the last time you seen a doctor?"
Right.
We passed through. They just had a thing about ticks, and we're out in the forests and preserves, and there's about 21 different diseases a tick could pass to you,
oh wow.
and you don't know it until you go and get checked out.
Right.
Because some things don't happen. Like you don't get
Right.
the tick,
Like
and then
the
I'll be like,
symptoms.
oh, yeah, the symptoms don't just show up and stuff like that.
And the cancers that we spot, those celebrities that died at a young age in cancer, if they check them, for 10 years they hadn't been to a doctor. Did you feel the pain? Yeah, I felt some, but
Right, wanted to keep
You're
going.
right.
Yeah.
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 So
Hey, thank you guys for tuning in to another week of The Man You're Called to Be. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you next week.
I don't know how I appeared here,
Peace.
but I appeared
Peace.
here. Peace.
She ain't gotta let it